Previously, we have seen the basics of operational amplifiers, and we have also seen some of the parameters, and we have solved some numerical examples on them, right? On CMRR, slew rate, and bias currents, offset currents, and all. Today, we will see the operation of an amplifier, operation of an operational amplifier. So, op-amp, it's basically a differential amplifier. As we have seen, it amplifies the difference between the two input signals, right? So we have two input terminals, inverting input terminal and non-inverting input terminal. So non-inverting input terminal, the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal is V2, and at the inverting input terminal, the voltage is V1. So the difference between them, that is V2 minus V1, is amplified, and that is obtained at the output. So when a voltage V1 is applied to the inverting input with the non-inverting input grounded, then what happens? If the non-inverting input is grounded means it is connected to 0 volts. The non-inverting input is V2. If V2 is 0, and if you apply a certain voltage at inverting input terminal, that is V1, then the output voltage is amplified version of V2 minus V1, right? So where V0 you can write as V0 is A into V2 minus V1, where A is the gain. If V2 is 0, that means if the non-inverting input terminal is grounded, V2 is 0. So what the output voltage will become, it will be equal to minus A into V1, right? So it will be inverted version of V1 with a certain gain. That gain is indicated by A, right? So output will be negative of the input, that is V1. Then if you ground the inverting input, that is V1, and apply some voltage at the non-inverting input terminal, V2, then what happens in this equation, V0, that is equal to A into V2 minus V1. If V1 is 0, then output V0 will be A into V2, right? So that's why, if whatever the voltage that you apply at the inverting input terminal, it will be inverted. That means positive will become negative and negative will become positive. And whatever voltage you apply at the non-inverting input terminal, it will remain in the same phase. That is, if it is positive, it will remain positive. If it's negative, it will remain negative, and it will be amplified with a certain gain of A. That gain is indicated by A, right? So this is the circuit of an inverting amplifier. So whenever you connect input to the inverting input terminal and non-inverting input terminal, if you ground, what happens is, if this is the input, which is a sinusoidal wave of period 2 pi, right? So what you obtain at the output is minus A into V1, right? It is minus A into V1. That is, it will be negative of V1 with a certain gain. You can see there is a slight increase in the amplitude, and it is inverted. So whatever, we had a positive half cycle here, it has become negative, and then here it has become positive. Right. So this happens when you connect the input at the inverting input terminal and connect ground to the non-inverting input terminal. Whereas if you connect the input to the non-inverting input terminal, it is a non-inverting amplifier. That means here you have connected the input V2, which is a sinusoidal wave, and the inverting input terminal you have grounded. You have connected the ground to the inverting input terminal. Then what happens? Output will be A times of V2. That means it will be in the same phase. Whatever you had positive half cycle here, it will remain the same, and negative half cycle from pi to 2 pi, and it will be amplified by a certain factor A, right? So this is a basic operation of an op-amp, of how you can connect inputs to either of the two input terminals, that is inverting and non-inverting input terminal. So based on this, we are going to have some basic op-amp circuits and certain applications of op-amps. And to understand those circuits and the operation, we need to make certain assumptions. So these assumptions are very, very important to understand the operation of an op-amp circuit. The first assumption that we are going to make is that op-amp has zero input current. Okay, op-amp has zero input current. That means the current flowing into an op-amp is zero, or you can say no current enters the op-amp. Why we say this is, ideally, the input resistance of an op-amp is infinite. Is it right? The input resistance of an op-amp is infinite. So if input resistance is infinite, no current can enter the op-amp. That makes the input current zero. So this is one assumption, that no current enters the op-amp, or there is zero input current. Okay, so another assumption is the concept of virtual ground. See, we know that an ideal op-amp has infinite gain. What is gain? Gain is A, right? Infinite gain, that gain is A. A is infinite. If A is infinite, so what is the equation for the output voltage? Output voltage, we know V0 is A into V2 minus V1. So what is V2 minus V1 in that way? V2 minus V1 is V0 divided by A, right? V2 minus V1 is V0 divided by A. If this A is infinite, anything divided by infinity is 0, right? Anything divided by infinity is 0. So V2 minus V1 is 0. If V2 minus V1 is 0, then they both have to be equal. That is, V1 is equal to V2. If V2 minus V1 is 0, that means difference between the two input voltages is 0. That means both the input voltages are actually the same. So this means that the input terminals of an op-amp are always at the same potential. This is another very important assumption, that both the input terminals are at the same potential. That means if one of the terminal is grounded, the other one also will be treated as grounded. Since it will not be grounded physically, we will consider that as virtual ground. Okay, if one terminal is grounded, then other terminal also should have 0 volts. So since it will not be connected physically to 0 volts, we will treat that as a virtual ground. So this is one very important assumption. Okay, so there are two assumptions that we take while understanding the circuits. One is no current can enter the op-amp, that is, there is 0 input current. Other assumption is that both the input terminals are at the same potential. That means there is, if one terminal is grounded, the other terminal is also virtually grounded. So with these two assumptions, we will try to understand some of the basic op-amp circuits. So the first circuit that we have is inverting amplifier. Inverting amplifier is a circuit which amplifies the input with a certain gain and which inverts the input. Inverts the input means the output will have a phase shift of phase difference of 180 degrees when compared to the input. Okay, so this produces a phase shift of 180 degrees between input and output, right? So here, this is a circuit of an inverting amplifier. So if this is the input, here you are connecting the input at the inverting input terminal, and non-inverting input terminal is grounded. Non-inverting input terminal here, this will be grounded. At the inverting input terminal, you are connecting the input. Vin is the input voltage, V0 is the output voltage. Then there is one input resistance that you connect at from Vin, at Vin, that is R1 you can take, and there is a feedback resistance connected from V0 to the inverting input terminal that you can call RF, right? So this is a circuit diagram of an inverting amplifier. So the current flowing through R1 is, you can take as I1, and the current flowing through RF you can take it as IF. Okay, current through R1 is I1 and current through RF is IF. So this is a circuit diagram. So once you know the circuit diagram, you have to use those assumptions, and you can what our intention is to get the equation for the output voltage of this inverting amplifier, and thereby find what is the gain of this amplifier. See, from the circuit, we see that the non-inverting input terminal is grounded. So you take this as point A, at the inverting input, whatever the voltage you have, you take that as point A, that node as point A, and this node as B, node B. Okay, so the non-inverting input terminal is grounded. So the potential at this node B is 0. It is grounded means the potential at this particular point you can take as 0. Okay, so the potential at node B, that is VB, is 0. Now you know the concept of virtual ground, right? So that means if one of the input terminal is grounded, there exists a virtual ground on the other input also. That means VA is equal to VB, right? VA is equal to VB. Since VB is 0, VA is also 0, right? So from the concept of virtual ground, the two input terminals are always at the same potential. Therefore, the potential at node A, that is VA, that is also equal to VB. And since VB is 0, VA is also 0, right? So that is what we have seen here. Since here this is grounded, this will also be virtually grounded. So the potential at node A is 0. Now we will write the expressions for the currents I1 and IF. What will be the current I1? Current is equal to voltage difference divided by the resistance, right? This current I1 is the current through the resistance R1, right? Current through the resistance R1 is voltage across R1 divided by resistance R1. Now what is the voltage across R1? What is the voltage across R1? What is the voltage at this particular end? At this particular end, the voltage is V in, right? And what is the voltage at this particular end? At this particular end, the voltage is VA. Is it right? So the potential difference across R1 is V in minus VA, and the resistance is R1. So the current I1 we can write as V in minus VA divided by R1. Is it right? V in minus VA divided by R1. So the current I1 is V in minus VA divided by R1. Now what is VA? VA is 0 because VB is 0. VA is also 0. So if VA is 0, what this becomes? I1 becomes V in divided by R1. Right? I1 is V in divided by R1. Now tell me what is IF. Similar way, what is IF? What is IF? IF is the current through resistance RF. So what is the potential here? The potential at this particular end is VA. The potential at this particular end is V0. So what is the current IF? It is VA minus V0 divided by RF. Is it right? VA minus V0 divided by RF. So the current IF is VA minus V0 divided by RF. But VA is 0. So it is 0 minus V0 divided by RF. So what that becomes? Minus V0 divided by RF. Right? Minus V0 divided by RF. That is my expression for IF. So you have got the two currents. I1 is V in by R1 and IF is minus V0 divided by RF. Right? Now you use that another assumption. What do you have there? That is 0 input current. That means the current entering the op-amp is 0, or no current can enter the op-amp. That is because an op-amp has, ideally, op-amp has infinite input resistance. So no current can enter the op-amp. That means what? From Kirchhoff's current law, you know that current entering a particular node is equal to the currents leaving that particular node. So if you take this node A, the current entering is I1 and currents leaving are, one is IB and another one is IF. But IB is the current entering into the op-amp, that is 0. From the assumption of 0 input current, no current can enter the op-amp, this is 0. So what should happen? Whatever the current is entering, that is I1, should go out through it as IF, right? So whatever you have I1, the same thing is going through RF as IF. So from the assumption of 0 input current, as since no current can enter the op-amp, I1 is equal to IF. Is it right? I1 is equal to IF. So since op-amp input current is 0, I1 passes through RF as IF. That is I1 is equal to IF. Now you know the equations for I1 and IF. I1 is V in by R1. IF is minus V0 by RF. So if you substitute them, I1 is V in by R1. IF is minus V0 by RF. So you get this particular. Now our intention is to get the expression for output voltage in terms of the input voltage. So if I rearrange this, I will get V0 is equal to minus RF by R1 into V in, right? So this is my expression for the output voltage of an inverting amplifier. So what you observe is output is an inverted version of the input along with a certain gain. So this ratio of RF by R1 is the gain. Okay, it's the gain. Here RF by R1 is called the gain of the amplifier, and the negative sign indicates that the output is inverted. So this is the expression for output voltage of an inverting amplifier, where negative sign indicates the output is inverted and RF by R1 indicates the gain, that is multiplied with input voltage, and you get the output. So this is the waveform, you can say, whenever input goes positive, output is going negative, and input is going negative, output is going positive. So we say there is a phase shift of 180 degrees. That means whatever signal was appearing here at 0, it is appearing here after a difference of 180 degrees here at pi, right? So here it has started increasing at 0 itself, here it has started increasing at pi. So there is a phase shift of 180 degrees, right? So that's about an inverting amplifier. So another basic op-amp circuit is the non-inverting amplifier. So it is very easy to draw the circuit of a non-inverting amplifier if you know an inverting amplifier, right? So in inverting amplifier, we had connected input voltage to the inverting input terminal and ground at the non-inverting input terminal. Here we are just swapping the positions of Vin and ground, that's all. So here there was Vin in inverting amplifier and here there was ground. In case of non-inverting amplifier, here there is ground and here there is Vin. So this non-inverting amplifier, it amplifies the input, wherein the input and the output will be in same phase. It amplifies the input without any phase shift between the input and output, right? So here, you know, the operation again can be explained using those two assumptions, assumption of the virtual ground and zero input current. Okay, so you know the potential at the node B in this case is not zero. The potential at the node B is equal to Vin. Vb is equal to Vin, right? Because the input voltage is connected to node B. So Vb is equal to Vin. The potential at node B, Vb is equal to Vin. Then from the concept of virtual ground, Va is equal to Vb. Since Vb is equal to Vin, Va is also equal to Vin, right? So since Va is equal to Vb, Vb is Vin, so Va is also equal to Vin, right? That means both the input terminals are at the same potential. If it is ground, the other one will also be grounded. If it is Vin, the other one is also Vin. Now, we have to write the expressions for the currents. What are the currents? I1 and IF, right? So this is a resistance R1. I1 is the current through R1. So this is the path. Since here there is ground, the direction of the current is this way, from A into ground, like this. So what is I1? It is voltage across R1 divided by resistance R1. What is the voltage across R1? It is VA minus 0. Here there is ground, so it is 0, right? VA minus 0 and resistance is R1. So I1 is VA minus 0 divided by R1. VA minus 0 divided by R1, and VA is equal to Vin, right? VA is equal to Vin. So it is Vin minus 0 divided by R1. So it is just I1 is Vin divided by R1, right? It is Vin divided by R1. Now what is IF? The current through resistance RF. It is also in this particular direction now. So it is the voltage across RF divided by resistance RF. What is the voltage across RF, or the potential difference? The voltage here is V0 and the voltage here is VA, right? So the voltage is V0 minus VA, resistance is RF. So IF is equal to V0 minus VA divided by RF. V0 minus VA divided by RF. But what is my VA? VA, we have seen that it is equal to VB, that is equal to Vin. So in place of VA, I can substitute Vin. So IF is equal to V0 minus Vin divided by RF, right? So now we have got two currents. I1 is Vin by R1 and IF is V0 minus Vin divided by RF, right? So now, since no current can enter the op-amp, you know, whatever the current is entering at the node A, that is IF, the same thing goes out as I1, because here no current can flow, right? No current can flow into the op-amp. So whatever current is entering this node A, it is going through I1. So IF is equal to I1, right? Since no current can enter the op-amp, as op-amp input current is 0, IF passes through R1 as I1. That means I1 is equal to IF. Now substitute the equations for I1 and IF. I1 is V in by R1, IF is V0 minus V in by RF. So just substitute. I1 is V in by R1, IF is V0 by V0 minus V in by RF. Now what we want is the expression for V0 in terms of V in, that is expression for output voltage in terms of the input voltage V in. So just simplify this. What do you get? So V0 minus V in by RF, I can split this as V0 by RF minus V in by RF. Is it right? On the RHS, there is V0 minus V in divided by RF. So I can write it as V0 by RF minus V in by RF. Then, you know, we will take V0 terms on one side and V in terms on other side. If I just rearrange, V0 by RF is equal to V in by R1. If I take this to the other side, minus V in by RF will become plus V in by RF. So V0 by RF is equal to V in by R1 plus V in by RF, right? So now here V in is common among these two. If I take V in as common, what will be the factors? 1 by R1 plus 1 by RF. Is it right? 1 by R1 plus 1 by RF times of V in. So among these two, if I take the common denominator as R1 RF, what will be the numerator? If I take denominator as R1 RF, what will be the numerator? It will be R1 plus RF, right? It will be R1 plus RF. Then this RF, if I take to the RHS, it is in the denominator, it will go to the numerator. So you'll have RF into R1 plus RF divided by R1 RF. So this RF and this RF, you know, we can cancel, right? RF and RF we can cancel. What remains then? R1 plus RF divided by R1 into V. So now, you know, if you just again split this, R1 by R1 plus RF by R1. What is R1 by R1? It is 1 plus RF by R1, right? So R1 by R1 is 1 plus RF by R1. So R1 plus RF divided by R1 into V in. So R1 by R1 is 1 plus RF by R1 times of V in. So the output voltage is obtained as 1 plus RF by R1 into V in. Here, you know, what you can see is output is the amplified version of the input. There is no negative sign. This indicates that output is in the same phase as that of the input. And this particular factor, that is 1 plus RF by R1, is the gain of the non-inverting amplifier, right? So here 1 plus RF by R1 is called the gain of the non-inverting amplifier. So you know, in the case of first module in that 7805 block diagram, we had a particular circuit diagram. If you remember that, we said it was a non-inverting amplifier. We took the equation as 1 plus R2 by R1 into the V in, right? So or V1, something like that. So there, you know, we use this particular equation, 1 plus RF by R1 into V in, where RF was R2 and R1 was R1, R2 dash by R1 dash, something like that, right? So it's here. I told you that we will study that non-inverting amplifier circuit in the third module. So it is this particular thing. And why that gain is like this, we have seen with the circuit, and we have derived the equation for that output voltage, right? So here, what is the difference between inverting and non-inverting amplifier is, in inverting amplifier, the output is inverted. Output and input have a phase difference of 180 degrees. Here in non-inverting amplifier, output and input, they are in the same phase. That is, it is not inverted. And the gain of inverting amplifier is minus RF by R1. Here the gain is 1 plus RF by R1. So this is the waveform. You know, if this is the input, output is the amplified version of the input, you can say, but it is not inverted. It is in the same phase, just the amplitude is increased. That's it. Right? So this is the waveform, an example of a non-inverting amplifier. So these two, inverting and non-inverting amplifiers, these are the basic circuits of op-amps. Now we have certain applications of op-amps. The very first application of op-amp that you can study is a voltage follower. A voltage follower, it's a circuit where the output voltage just follows the input voltage. That means output is equal to input. Output is equal to input. So these are generally used to isolate the different stages from one another. So in between, if you put a voltage follower, the same input that you give is connected to the next stage through a voltage follower. See, this is a circuit of a voltage follower wherein we do not connect any resistances. The output is connected to the inverting terminal directly without any feedback resistance. Output is directly connected to the inverting input terminal, and the input voltage is connected at the non-inverting input terminal. Right? Input voltage is connected to the non-inverting input terminal, Vin. Vin is connected to non-inverting input terminal. So this you can take as node A at the inverting input and node B at the non-inverting input terminal. Again, you can use the same principle of concept of virtual ground and explain this circuit. See, the potential at node B is Vin because node B is connected to Vin. The potential at node B is Vb, that is equal to Vin. Then from the concept of virtual ground, both the terminals are at the same potential. That means Va is also equal to Vb. So Va is equal to Vin. From the concept of virtual ground, the two input terminals, they are at the same potential. So potential at node A, that is Va is equal to Vb, that is equal to Vin. And from the circuit, what you can see, the output is connected to node A. So Va is also equal to V0, right? V0 is equal to just Va. V0 is also equal to Va. Node A is directly connected to output. So V0 is equal to Va. But what is Va? Va is Vb, that is equal to Vn. So V0 is equal to Vn. That means output is the same as the input. So that's the voltage follower. And what you can see in voltage follower, what is the gain? Output is equal to input. What is the gain? It is 1. The gain is 1. It is unity. The gain is said to be unity. That is, gain is 1. So it is also called source follower or unity gain follower. Different names are there. Buffer amplifier or isolation amplifier. So this is the waveform. Whatever you give at the input, same thing will come at the output. V0 is equal to V. Right? So there are certain advantages, like it has got very large input impedance or resistance, very low output impedance, large bandwidth, can operate on a very large range of frequencies. Then the output follows the input exactly without any phase shift. So these are certain advantages of the voltage follower. So apart from this, there are certain other applications like an adder or a summing amplifier or a summer, you call that, and a subtractor. Then there is an integrator, differentiator, and comparator. Right? So we will see these circuits one by one. The first one, we will see the summing amplifier, or you can call it a summer or an adder. So here, depending on where you connect or to which terminal you are connecting the input, you have two types, that is an inverting summing amplifier and a non-inverting summing amplifier. So first we will see inverting summing amplifier. So whatever the circuit you can see, it is a 2-input inverting summing amplifier. In a 2-input inverting summing amplifier, there are two inputs, V1 and V2, and you are connecting them to the inverting input terminal. Right? So this circuit is similar to that of an inverting amplifier. If you see, it is similar to that of an inverting amplifier, but instead of having only one input Vin, we are having two inputs, V1 and V2, connected to inverting input terminal. Right? So in inverting amplifier, you had Vin here, just one input Vin, and here there was RF, V0. Here there was resistance R1. Now here there are two resistances R1 and R2 connected in between this V1 and input terminal and V2 and input terminal. So what our circuit is supposed to do is to add these two signals. Add these two signals, V1 and V2, and the sum output voltage will be inverted version of the sum of V1 and V2. So the input signals to be added are applied to the inverting input terminal, as you can see here. So there is a resistance R1 here and R2 here. So the current through this R1 is I1, and current through R2 is I2, and current through RF is IF. The non-inverting input terminal is grounded, as you can see. So You start from the known potential, that the non-inverting input terminal is grounded. So if you take this as node B, the potential at node B is VB, that is equal to 0. Now from the concept of virtual ground, VA is equal to VB, so VA is also 0, right? So we can start from that same thing, that potential at node B is VB, that is equal to 0. From the concept of virtual ground, both the input terminals are at the same potential. So VA is equal to VB, that is equal to 0. Now, let us write the equations for the currents. Currents, there are 3 currents now, that is current through R1, through R2 and RF, that is I1, I2 and IF, you can say. What is I1? I1 is the voltage across R1 divided by resistance R1, right? What is the voltage across R1? At this particular end, the voltage is V1, and here the voltage is VA. Is it right? At this end, the voltage is VA. So the difference between them is V1 minus VA divided by R1. That gives the current I1. Is it right? V1 minus VA divided by R1 is I1. So I1 is V1 minus VA divided by R1. But what is VA? VA is 0. So it is V1 minus 0 divided by R1. So what that gives? I1 is equal to V1 by R1. Right? I1 is equal to V1 by R1. Similarly, what is I2? I2 is the current through resistance R2. You can say this is current through resistance R2. The potential at this particular end of R2 is V2, and potential here it is VA. So the potential difference is V2 minus VA divided by resistance R2 will give the current I2. So I2 is V2 minus VA divided by R2. Is it right? I2 is V2 minus VA divided by R2. But VA is 0, so it is just V2 divided by R2. This is my I2. So I1 is V1 divided by R1. I2 is V2 divided by R2. Now what is IF? Just like in the previous case, we can say what is IF? This is the current through resistance RF. The potential difference across RF, that is VA minus V0 divided by resistance RF will give me IF. Is it right? IF is VA minus V0 divided by RF. But VA is 0, right? VA is 0. So it is 0 minus V0 divided by RF. So I can write IF as minus V0 divided by RF. IF is minus V0 divided by RF. Now, what is the relation between the currents? You can see at this particular node A, 2 currents are entering. That is I1 and I2 are entering the node A, and IF is leaving. No current can enter the op amp. So here there is no current that is entering the op amp. So whatever current is coming in this particular case through I1 and I2, it has to go through IF. So use your Kirchhoff's current law. Currents entering is equal to the currents leaving the node. That is I1 plus I2 will be equal to IF, right? I1 plus I2 is equal to IF. So using that thing, we can write, since no current can enter the op amp, or op amp input current is 0, I1 and I2 together pass through RF as IF. So I1 plus I2 is equal to IF. So use these equations of I1 and I2. I1 is V1 by R1. I2 is V2 by R2. IF is minus V0 by RF. Just substitute. Minus V0 by RF is V1 by R1 plus V2 by R2. Rearrange. We want the equation for V0 in terms of V1 and V2. So keep V0 on one side, take all other terms on the other side. V0 is equal to this minus RF. If I take to the other side, it will come to the numerator, minus RF into V1 by R1 plus V2 by R2. So if I rearrange this, I can just write it as minus of RF is common, right? If you multiply both the terms with RF, I can write it as RF by R1 into V1 plus RF by R2 into V2. So this indicates that the output is the sum of the 2 inputs. Is it right? Output V0 is the sum of 2 inputs with a certain gain. So it is RF by R1 into V1. So the V1 is amplified by this particular factor, RF by R1, and RF by R2 into V2, that is V2 is amplified by this particular factor RF by R2, and then they are added, and the negative sign indicates that the output is inverted, right? Output is inverted. So this indicates that it is an inverting summing amplifier with a certain gain. So now, to simplify this, you can take certain assumptions. So if you consider that R1 and R2 are equal, consider the resistances R1 and R2 as equal, that is equal to R. What happens in that case? You can take R as common. You can take R as common. It will become RF by R. This will also become RF by R. RF by R is common. I can keep it outside and take V1 plus V2. So RF by 1 minus RF by R into V1 plus V2. That is the sum of V1 plus V2 multiplied by certain gain. Again, if you make an assumption that all the resistance are equal, that is R1 is equal to R2 is equal to RF. In that case, this R is R1 and R2, that is the same as RF. Then they get cancelled. So what remains is just V0, that is equal to minus of V1 plus V2. That means output is the sum of the two inputs, and it is inverting. For example, if V1 is some 3 volts, V2 is 4 volts, the output V0 will be 3 plus 4, 7, and it is inverted, that is minus 7. Output V0 will be minus 7 volts if V1 is 3 and V2 is 4. So we are going to have certain numerical examples on this, they will give some value of R1 and RF, R1, R2 and RF, and some input voltages V1 and V2. You'll have to find what is the output voltage. So you have to know what is the equation for output voltage in terms of V1 and V2. You can use that and substitute and get the answer. So normally what is asked, or what is more important, is a 3-input inverting summing amplifier, right? So in this case, yeah, the negative sign indicates that the phase is inverted, or the output is inverted. Then it also indicates that the output is sum of 2 input signals. Yeah, as I said, the 3-input version of the same inverting summing amplifier, you can see the only difference that we have here is there is an extra input. Instead of just V1 and V2, we have another input V3, which is connected through resistance R3 here, and there is this current I3. So the explanation will be similar. So I want you to get an expression for the output voltage of this 3-input inverting summing amplifier. You can follow the same principle, start from the known potential at node B, that is 0. So VA is also 0. From that you can get what is I1, it will become V1 by R1. I2, it is V2 by R2. I3 is V3 by R3. And RF is minus V0 by RF. IF is minus V0 by RF. So get the relation between the currents. I1 plus I2 plus I3 will be equal to IF. If you substitute in that, you will get something similar to this. It will be minus RF by R1 V1 plus RF by R2 V2. Sorry. Yeah. It will be minus RF by R1 into V1 plus RF by R2 into V2, plus there will be another term here, plus RF by R3 into V3. So if you make those assumptions and all, you'll end up getting minus RF by R into V1 plus V2 plus V3. So if you take all resistances are equal, you can say it is V0 is minus of V1 plus V2 plus V3, right? So even if you end till here also, it's fine, because resistances will not be the same always. But just to show that it is the sum of the 3 different inputs, you can take it up to here and end up with V0 is minus of V1 plus V2 plus V3. So I expect you to do that as a task today, right? In tomorrow's class, we will see another kind of summing amplifier, that is a non-inverting summing amplifier, and some other circuits like a subtractor, integrator, differentiator, and comparator. We will take up that in the next class.